All right. Maybe this will be like an introductory video. I'm having a bad hair and face day, so it's probably not like a good start to it. I'm uploading my first video here. Talking to a camera on a stick. It's like, in the car it's one thing, because I spent the past 10 years like talking to people here and there, not like full-blown conversations, but like acclimated to speaking to other human beings. You know what I mean? So I was watching the videos last night, and it looked like I realized how cringe my mannerisms were compared to maybe some professional content creators and whatnot that I may have partaken of viewing on the internet there. So this morning I'm gonna go for a walk and talk to this camera here, because it's not common. Like you see on the internet, people walking around with a stick on a camera, and they do it like it's nothing. Well, I'll let this lady go.
Sorry.
Here. Yeah, no problem. Talking to this camera, you know what I mean? Like, you don't see it often in my neighborhood anyways. And I figured for an introductory video, I'll go for a little like morning walk that I usually do when the weather's nice. It looks like it's a pretty nice day today. And try to keep my voice clear and consistent. I guess people make it look easy, the big creators or whatever, make it look easy to be like clear and coherent, which is I'm realizing now it's easier said than done. And it's just not my style, like I said, you rarely see people, like even on the phone down here, you rarely see people even talking, on the phone down here. I guess it's because it's the park and people are just trying to like walk or jog or walk their dogs. And most people do it in, quiet, like silence, which is, when in Rome, right? So that's pretty much that. Mi nombre is Frank, and now I'm like self-conscious about, do I have the right angle? The haircut I got a couple weeks ago is a fucking catastrophe. I haven't trimmed the beard, so I'm not putting back my best foot forward here, even though it's more concerning with my head and face. It's like now I'm deciding where I should like put the camera. Should I keep it on me? Like, does that make me a narcissist? Because I see a lot of things on my feed about narcissism and whatnot, and like being under control of a narcissist. So like, am I under the spell of narcissism now because I have this camera on the stick? Or am I merely learning the ways of the narcissist to free myself from that spell? And maybe it's a little bit of, maybe both is happening at the same time. All right. See, she's doing pictures of like magic crystals, it looks like, and that's pretty cool. Always like to see something like that. I'm not going to talk to her because that's just not how it's done, Like, I probably should, but I don't know. Like, you see somebody setting up magic crystals, you just leave them alone, Let her do a magic crystal ritual would be my guess. Why jump into it? Besides, I don't want to be out here too long. I got like an oil change to do. I got shit to do, you know. New York, everybody's got shit to do. And like, if we start talking about magic crystals, you know, who knows how long we're gonna be there doing that, you know. Lose an hour on magic crystals, next thing you know it's lunchtime, you know, half the day is gone. And you know, just who's got time for it? You gotta stay on the grind, I guess, because I gotta do my oil, the oil change on the car, and then I gotta go to work. Because there's money. Because the city is goddamn expensive. So I guess I'll like rotate the stick and like show you stuff over here. I got this GoPro like a week ago. I'm like addicted to it. I spent like $1,000 on like the GoPro, the accessories, the memory cards, all these little things, and it's like it's a really good product. It really is. Like I wasn't expecting too much. I was trying to like do a live stream from the car, but that's all convoluted because you have to set up different internet access. And there's a dog there. Is he copyright protected? I don't know. He seems like a nice dog. Like, is his image gonna get me flagged on my account? I don't know these things because I don't, you know, I'm like a consumer on the internet. I don't really put stuff on the internet. So, I mean, the therapeutics of talking to an imaginary audience are quite, like, it's better than therapy. That's for sure. Like, it's better than talking to a therapist. Like, I would recommend it. Like, if you're having issues or something, instead of spending money on therapy, get a fucking GoPro. So at least it feels like you have someone to talk to. Especially, like, if you're talking about magic, crystal rituals like that lady. I didn't want to show her face because I don't know if it's like, if she would sue me for like putting her magic crystals on the GoPro, you know, like, is that going to affect the resonance of her magic crystals? I don't know. I don't want to get into it, you know. I don't have the time to get into the legal ramifications of interrupting a crystal ritual. She was looking west, and on the fence, and there was like 3 spikes on the fence, and then there was 3 rings of magic crystals. So I don't know how that kind of stuff works, but I'm not sure I want to either. So yeah, there's Narrows, some ships out in the harbor. Looks like it's a nice day. People talking about chemtrails. I think those are just like Nimbus or fucking, I don't know. They told us what the clouds were back in the day, and then some people were saying, oh, those are chemtrails. Oh, those aren't chemtrails. Oh, those are contrails. The planes just do that. And then you see other videos like, oh, look, we put the chemicals in the plane. And, you know, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and you know, everybody's a conspiracy theorist. But then, you know, things start not adding up, and who's right and who's wrong, who's delusional, who's seeing things clearly, and who can say, you know? And then you got the WHO, the World Health Organization, and they are like fucking stupid, you know, like in my opinion. But then maybe because I say that, I won't be able to put this on YouTube because I think the World Health Organization is stupid. I mean, other people think it's stupid too, you know. If the pandemic, I thought it was very stupid. So now that I said that, I might have to edit that out to put this on YouTube in the first place. So it's like, what do? You're like damned if you do, damned if you don't. I could just like blank it out, maybe, or whatever. There's a lot of pitfalls and things to consider, I guess, when somebody puts like a camera on a stick and starts walking around with it, you know, more than I figured. But now that I have the camera on the stick and I'm talking to it, it feels like the more I'm easing into it, the easier it's getting. And that's only after like 5 minutes and a pretty short walk. So I got like this wide angle lens, you know. And like I said, most people don't talk while they're walking in this neighborhood. Everybody's stone cold silent. You know what I mean? I could tell that guy was fucking uncomfortable that I was talking to this camera with this stick. And my opinion on that is like, too bad. You know what I mean? I don't care. I don't care if it makes you uncomfortable that I'm talking to this camera on a stick. You know? Like, I really don't. And that's kind of liberating in a way. Because people are like scared of each other or whatever is going on in this neighborhood. People are weird here. Especially after the pandemic. Super weird. And that's part of the reason why I had the camera in the first place. You always gotta watch your six too. That's another thing I learned in this neighborhood. I mean, you got to wherever you're at. You should be anyways. You see, you know, these content creators, they don't give a shit what's going on around them. You see some of these guys who have like bodyguards and they go out and intentionally try to like trigger people. And it's like, man, I don't know what the game is there, but like they're rolling the dice, or they're going to some place where they know everybody's like them, like soft as fuck. You know what I mean? But like some of the things people do to strangers is like unheard of. Like not gonna say unimaginable, but like really, like if you tried to do that in some place that was like real or not like a robot fucking joint, you and your bodyguard wouldn't last long. Leave it at that. So I'm gonna turn the stick this way. I forget that this GoPro, it doesn't matter if you like turn it sideways. It'll keep it up and down. So the picture is up. This is the GoPro Black, and it's really nice device. I like it. I've had a few cameras, but nothing like serious, and it's pretty good. Pretty good. What else? Like I said, I've been driving Uber here for 10 years, talking to different people, seeing different people come and go. You know, all over the city, but majority in South Brooklyn, which has got like a lower volume, like a lower population density. It's not like Bushwick or Williamsburg or like Manhattan. It's not like the hustle and bustle and whatnot of you know, all the marketing and, you know, banking executives and all that shit. It's definitely not that. It's more definitely middle class. We got the wonderful sounds of the Belt Parkway. You know, 4-hour walk overlooking the Narrows in New York Harbor. You know, we got some trees. There's some trees. There's some grass. There's a bus. You know. kind of defeating the purpose of the walk with the camera. Usually I'll walk, and it's for the exercise, but also it's for like the contemplation. You know, you walk, clear your head, think about shit, and instead of like looking at the grass and the trees, you know, or the flagpole or any of that, I'm thinking about the camera. I'm thinking about the camera, and I'm thinking about how I look on the camera. So it's kind of like a little narcissism machine. You know what I mean? Like the more I'm thinking about the camera and getting comfortable with it, the more it's like, you know, that's my focus, and that's okay. You know, I don't. My intention for putting any content up isn't for like going on walks and relaying my thoughts on the walks. It's primarily for the vehicle, you know, because I'm in the vehicle, and rather than talk to myself in the vehicle, I'll think to myself in the vehicle. And you know, because why waste the words? If I'm in the vehicle, you know, why would I move my, you know, why would I flap my lips to myself in the vehicle without a camera to flap them to? So, you know, a lot of people in this city are in like a transitional period. There's a lot of moving trucks. Almost every day I see moving trucks for this company, Piece of Cake Moving, you know, just moving stuff. I'm assuming people are moving out. I've noticed a lot of passengers having a rough time adjusting to whatever changes, even though, like, policy-wise, not really much has changed in the city. Like, nothing that there hasn't been any, like, crazy policy or anything that's really changed in the city in the past year. You know, we've had some events like Daniel Penny and the Michael Jackson impersonator. We had some events like that woman getting lit on fire and nobody helping her. I think that impacted, I think those two kind of impacted people a little bit more than they might let on, you know, especially if they're in denial about the situation. Like, I think those two definitely impacted that. Embattled mayor, who was the borough president of Brooklyn for a long time, and now like all his political allies are like turning on him, and he had federal investigation, trouble with illegal immigrants, even in this rather affluent neighborhood. You know, like we've had illegal immigrants last summer being shacked up in that RV. Somebody was like putting them in that RV for some reason, you know, like for like no reason, and they were like living in this park, you know, which was odd, because it's like there's no way an illegal immigrant could even afford rent around here, and there's like nowhere to put them. So why people are moving now, it's I couldn't say. I'm moving. My intention is to move at the end of next month, but that's for other issues that I can't mention for legal reasons. And it's just it's a strange vibe in the city these days. And some of my videos will show that you know, things are strange. Things are strange for people in the city, and not all of it like adds up. Like, I can't put my finger on it, you know, but from what I can see, there's a lot of moving trucks. People are fed up, you know, a lot of tension beneath the surface, maybe, even though I don't really feel it. I don't let other people's you know, tensions or emotions or whatever get to me if I can help it. You know, if some woman decides to trauma dump all over the back of my head, you know, there's only so much I can do, because I don't want to get a bad rating and then lose my job, even though that's coming to an end. My ratings have tanked over the past 6 months. I was like riding at an almost 5-star rating. I'm down to like 4.3, just because, you know, I find things so comical, almost to a point of farce, or I find myself having like outbursts when I see something I you know, see something that I just can't rectify, that just makes no sense, you know. And I kept those good ratings for a good long time, and now they're starting to slip, because it's a two-way street. A little, you know, say half because of me and my outlook maybe, and the other half is definitely them. You know, we have passengers, and when I say we, I mean me and Uber. You know, it runs the gamut. You got good regular working people. You got like elitist, like groomer types who are telling people they're gay, and, you know, like doing, like, it's almost like cult-like in a way, where they're like convincing another person that they're gay when they have expressed interest in females and stuff. You know, people who are running on like scripts in their head, where like the script will break and they'll revert back to the thing they said like 2 minutes prior, and that'll just repeat on and on and on for like a 40-minute trip, and that leaves an impression on somebody. Leaves an impression on me for sure. It's like, you know, you start to see these human behaviors in like pattern recognition. You start to see a pattern in people and how they're just like, you know, some people are running on a script, or they have a notion in their head that they simply always circle back to in a certain way, you know. Or like with the lack of any outside stimulation, like say in the back of a car, something they saw from the day, they're going over and over and over. And some people internalize that and they think about it quietly in the car, and other people, you know, will run on with it. But I refer to that as like a broken script. Like if they mention a particular person and they're talking to somebody else or on the phone, and then they mention details or talk or give validation about that, and then, you know, 2 or 3 minutes into the conversation, they go back to that same person. Things like that. There's a lot of people who are like making realizations about their friend groups or their boyfriends. There's breakups, there's heartache, you know. The other night, it was, you know, it was someone who realized that the love of their life or the significant other was, you know, having an affair the whole time, and that the way I had overheard it, it was like their entire life was built around toxicity and spending all the money they got, and then they're complaining that they have no money, you know. It's like almost like a farce of irony. It's like everything you desire to do is tuned to spend all your money, go out to the restaurants, travel, live your best life, so to speak. And then when things, you know, when something goes wrong, you realize you got no money, and you were depending, you know, on that person who you were demanding to spend their money on. You know what I mean? Like things like that. What else? you know, there's good and there's bad, but it seems around here, it seems like the bad sticks out more, and they say that, like, that's why news is always bad news on TV, because the bad news sticks out more. So I try to find, well, no, I don't try to find anything with the passengers. Usually the standard with the passenger, if it's a good passenger and the driver, is as little as possible said. You know what I mean? The passenger gets in the car, we confirm the name of, or the identity, you know, for identification purposes. We're confirmed, maybe the destination, because of the nature of the app. You know, I already know the destination once the trip begins. So a good trip is a silent trip for all intents and purposes. If somebody wants to talk, or they're talking on the phone to somebody else, you know, things are overheard. You know, it's just how it is. Things are overheard if they're talking loud enough. Usually I don't care. Like, if they're talking, you know, it's a difficult thing to completely ignore when somebody's talking 2 feet behind you. It can be done, and for many years I did do that. But when somebody's having like a, you know, when somebody is like literally processing trauma in your back seat, it's like almost impossible to ignore the shit they're saying. You know what I mean? When someone's describing how their life is falling apart 2 feet behind you, it's almost impossible to try to tune it out. And it's also almost impossible to not judge the shit out of them either. I mean, at least for me. You know what I mean? Like, you know, someone saying how they made all these terrible decisions and all these wrong moves, and now their life is falling apart. And it's like, not that I want to say anything or that I want to judge them, but it's like, yes, of course. You know what I mean? You're like okay with this toxic behavior, and you know, you seem to be kind of in love with it, and then, like, you know, something goes wrong and now you're crying about it. And I've been noticing a pattern with that, and how that reflects, or how that equates, or how it all ties together with like the bigger picture and all the political stuff going on in the world. Like, it's just funny how it syncs together, you know, the microcosm and the macrocosm. It's like Howard Bloom, global brain sort of thing. Like, it's all interconnected, and sort of, you know, like the esoterics will describe how everything is connected, this and that, or philosophically, you know, Sisyphus, or whoever the dude with the rock is. And then other days it's like Atlas, and I got the world on the shoulders there, you know what I mean? Or no, Sisyphus was the dude where the eagle would eat his liver. I don't know what that one's about. So yeah, just like a little introduction here on my walk. Like I said, got to change the oil. I'm thinking maybe I put the GoPro on the head thing when I do the oil change, but not that interesting. Paid $100 for the lens. This is the wide angle lens. I have to set it up right so I'm not getting the passengers' faces. That was something I noticed from last night, and still working it out. The upload speeds on the videos are way slower than I thought they would be. So I got like my first video is like uploading now. We'll see how it goes with that, with the music, because really I just want to, like, really all I want to do is like critique the music that comes on the radio. Because not for nothing, my playlist is fucking banger. Like, that's really why my ratings were good, and how I provided pretty good service for all those years, you know what I mean? People were like, yo, this music's good. And I'm like, thank the artist, you know what I mean? And Pandora. So beyond that, you know, I never thought I'd be a guy with a camera on a stick. I never thought that would ever be something I would do. Just for whatever reason, I'm not that kind of. I got a face for radio. I got a bad haircut. You know, I'm not particularly in love with my own visage. You know, it's like a mirror on the wall situation. Like, I'm not vain like that. You know, although I can look at myself in the mirror, I have a clean conscience for the most part. It's just like something to do, I suppose. And my intention is to hit the road and try to find something else to do here, because, no, that's a whole nother thing. Anyways, I'm gonna call it there, and maybe this will be good for an intro video, and maybe it won't be. Time will tell. All right, bye-bye.